So welcome to today's webinar series, Staying Strong and Positive for Ourselves and Our Children. So excited you can be with us on this Wednesday, this hump day. Whoop, whoop. All right, we can go to the next slide. I just want to give a shout out to Jahira, who is our tech person for today, making sure that I am good during today's webinar. So today, we are discussing the yin and yang of parenting, structure and flow, and I am your host, Sarita Sashington. Thank you for joining me today. Looking forward to some fantastic conversations around protective factors. All right, next slide. So don't forget, as you're coming in, feel free to drop in the chat where you're from, okay? We'd love to, I'm nosy and I just want to know because we have so many great people here from Fairbanks, Alaska. Wow. Wow. Fantastic. Yeah, say hello and tell us where you're joining us from. So our ways to engage. If you aren't talking, please keep your phone on mute. When you're ready to comment, please raise your hand and we'll unmute you, and then you'll need to unmute yourself in order to be heard. Please be patient with us, or with both of us. And then feel free to type your comments in the chat, in the group chat, and make sure it's going to all panelists and attendees. This is something that I always mess up. I'm forever putting it just to panelists, and then just Jahira sees it. So, oh, fantastic. We have people from California and El Paso and Pennsylvania, Missouri. Whoa, those are my people. Hey, Tammy. So our agreements today: speak from your own experience, use I statements, right? The best way to relate to other people is simply to share your own experience. Nothing beats your own experience, okay? Golden rule: treat other people the way you want to be treated. And this rest, I love this one because it wraps up all of our peer and cafe agreements, like not giving advice and no judgment and confidentiality. Okay, so treat other people the way you want to be treated. Full presence, please no multitasking. I know that you can do a lot of things while you're on, but since you decided to jump on to today's webinar, I'm going to encourage you to be fully present because we got some good conversations. We usually have some really good conversations. I don't think today will be any different, and you don't want to miss this. And of course, if you need a minute, take a minute, okay? We're not policing you, so do what you need to do to take care of yourself. Do we all agree to these agreements? And I am seeing the agreements come through in the chat. Fantastic. So go ahead and drop agree. Yes. You guys are amazing. Thank you for agreeing to take the space, to keep the space safe, right? So that people can share without fear of chaos. Fantastic. All right. Absolutely. Thank you. Hey, my son has a song called Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Jahira, next slide, please. So today, you heard me mention so far this morning or during this afternoon, that the protective factors. And today, our questions will be, in our conversation, are based around this fantastic resource from Be Strong Families, the Living the Protective Factors. And so today, that first one, the affirmation cards, is where we're going to hold today's conversations off of. We also have a playbook, which is 7 days, and we have a book, How We Keep Our Children Safe and Family Strong. And so some great resources. Just want to encourage you to check it out on the page, but to also share with you that this is where today's conversation is coming from. We're going to look at these fantastic affirmation cards, and I happen to love them, and I think you will too. All right, next slide, Jahira. So this is what they look like in real time, right? So way 34, do as I do. I respect my children. I respect my children's feelings and needs. I show them how I want them to act by acting that way towards them. I'm going to read it one more time. Do as I do. I respect my children's feelings and needs. I show them how I want them to act by acting that way towards them. Can you tell me what are some ways that you show your children you respect their feelings and needs? Anybody? What are some ways that you show your children that you respect their feelings and needs? So while you guys are putting that in the chat, I'm just going to talk. I'm going to share my own experience. Um, so I'm thinking about my daughter, and I remember that my daughter was very, like, when she was younger, she was pretty angry kid, and she would be like, in my family growing up, you just don't say no ever. If your parent says something to you, to say no is like, it's like death, right? You don't say no. And I remember my daughter being very, like, a very um angry child, and she would often be frustrated, and when I would say things to her, she would, the first thing out of her mouth would be no. And I'd always like, and then they'd be like this, this meltdown type thing, right? This that's spewing like and then there would be tears, and I would just watch, right? And I'd just be like, ah. And so people, my friends and family would often say, oh, Sarita, you shouldn't let her talk to you like that. You shouldn't let her say no. And you need to do this. And I wouldn't do that. What I would do is I would usually find a way to calm her down by introducing a joke or waiting until afterwards. And then I would say something like, I really, really want to help you. I really want to support you, but I can't do it if you're screaming and hollering. I need you to lower your voice. And then I want you to talk about what you want to say so I can help you, because I can't do it when you're like that. And then lo and behold, she would, and then there'd be tears, right? And I see her doing that with her own children today. So that's the way that I do it. Let's see what some of you guys are saying. Sandra said, listen to what they have to say, even though the punishment might still have to happen. Yes, truth. Sarita said, I allow my children the space to speak to me about their feelings, and they can share their opinions as we agree in a respectful way. We take turns talking, and if they ask me to just listen, then I agree to that. Yes, Serena, I had to ask my daughter as she got older, like her teenage years, am I talking to help provide advice, or am I talking just to am I just listening? Natalia said, Natalie, that's so pretty. Did I say it right? Give them space. They're upset, and respect them when they tell me how they're feeling by supporting them in affirmation of their emotion, and figure out how I can help them. Yeah. For me, I was like, am I listening or am I providing advice? And then I learned how to just listen. And she could tell me what space she was in and what she needed from me. Tammy said, I've recently had some conversations with my older daughter, which were pretty difficult for me. She expressed some ways I messed up as a parent. Oh, those are hard conversations, Tammy. My memories of those situations very different from hers. Rather than argue and try to prove I was right, I validated her feelings and apologized, because I truly never want to do anything to hurt either of my kids. I think my reaction is serving to build a stronger relationship with her now. Tammy, I just want to say kudos to you. That is like the hardest thing in the world. I remember going through that with my children. And you're right. My experience was also that our experiences were totally different. I had to humble myself and just say, you know what? I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Okay, last one. Kim said, my child's an adult, so my actions are more with my husband. We are working on I statements as opposed to you statements. Yes. That's a good one. And I don't know who was that just said the I statements, but doing this for Be Strong families and cafes have really taught me how empowering I statements are, and how they allow us to connect on a different level with people versus like you. Because what I've learned is, like, speaking you really deflects, but when I use I statements, it becomes very reflective. So yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for sharing. Good stuff. All right, I think we're ready for the second one. Next, um, way 47, preserve dignity. I do not embarrass, shame, or humiliate my kids. I respectfully correct them in private. Let me read that again. I don't know why I'm stuttering. I do not embarrass, shame, or humiliate my kids. I respectfully correct them in private. So I'm going to ask you, what has been a positive result of preserving your child's dignity? What has been a positive result of preserving your child's dignity? I'll give you a chance to think about that one. I think for me, it has left me children feeling very positive, feeling very not positive, supportive. Um, I remember I remember going to my daughter's school. My children were younger. I worked in the school, and I remember a doctor, not a doctor. I remember a teacher saying, "Oh yeah, your daughter cursed at me." Blah 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 blah. I was like, you know what? I know my daughter, and she wasn't even in high school yet. It was like, I know my daughter, and you can say a lot of things about my daughter, but you cannot say that she cursed anyone. And I remember that isn't so much a correct them in private, more more that it was about supporting her. Like because that was an area I would never embarrass, shame, or humiliate my kids. But that was an area that she always felt like, Mom, you always take the teacher's side. And and I grew up sort of old school when I was first a young parent. Like, the teacher doesn't have a reason to lie to you. And then I realized, like, oh my God, these teachers also have trauma and problems, and they do sometimes do whatever. And so I realized at that time, like, oh no, you can say a lot of stuff, but you're not going to say that my daughter cursed you out. And I believed her, and for that went a long way with her in building our trust. That I preserved her dignity in that way and supported her in public. So let's see what you guys are saying. Natalie said, believing in them when they tell me a truth, very similar to yours. Yes. Tammy said, I think preserving my kids' dignity has made them stronger adults who are able to take responsibility for their action and their words. Lori said, creates trust in the relationship. Yes. Serena said, tell them they are valued, shows them they are valued, and my job is to really be there for them, good, bad, or different. Definitely. Black said, once they see that you respect them, they find it easier to come to you because they know you are respecting them as not just their child, but as a human being. Yes. They appreciate it. You can tell by the way they continue to be open with you. It's a great way to build a positive relationship with your children. Agreed, agreed, agreed. Yes. I'm so glad to know we have such that great minds think alike. I just feel like the more and protective factors are those things we put in place to keep our children safe and our family strong. And I love the fact that these are based around that these cards are based around protective factors, and the more that we use them, the stronger our families get. And I can tell that you guys have been at some webinars and some cafes, and that you are familiar with the language of like being strength based, right? With our kids. With our kids. Let's see, I'll take these last two and then we're gonna keep moving. Someone said, I'm 50 because your name is cut off. I'm 50-50 on this. I have one child who will regularly use public spaces to act out thinking I will not respond in the moment. Once I show them that I respond to immediately an issue that needs to be addressed in the moment. Showing her that I responded the same to her in public and private helped her to understand I am there to guide her in her growth. We have had many less issues as a whole. Well, go ahead, mama. I never embrace or humiliate my toddler, but there are other family members who go that route with discipline, and I can literally see the difference in comfort when she's around me versus others. Gotcha. Oh, that's Dana. Okay, not that I was unduly embarrassing or mean to her during the process. No, I totally got you. I felt you, Dana. I felt you. Kids will try it. I mean, like, come on, they're kids. They will try it. They'll pull it. What do the young kids say? They shoot, they shot. something like that. But yeah, they'll definitely try it. All right, let's go. Let's go. Next slide, Jahira. All right, wave 51, model positive energy. I know that I am a powerful force for good or for evil, and I choose good. So, what are some ways that you, what are some ways, I'm not going to say as a parent, what are some ways that you model positive energy in your family, children, friends, workplace? What are some ways you model positive energy? Um, you know what? I am the same at work that I am at home. I'm the same with my kids as I am with my friends. And I tend to show up the same. For me, I'm very faith-based and positive and strength-based. I also feel like for me, I'm always trying to choose the best way or I don't know if anyone ever intentionally chooses evil, but I always choose, I think I always choose good by always seeing the best in people. I've had like several people say to me in the last week or so, Sarita, I don't care. You always come with some rainbows and stuff. Whenever somebody's talking to you, whenever I'm talking to you, you're gonna find a way to find the positive. It's just how I decide to roll. I mean, I realize that I have choices and I can choose, I can choose to look at the negative. I can choose to expound on the negative. I can choose to blah, 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 blah. Instead, I just choose to find the best. I believe the best about most people until they show me otherwise. I believe I can find the best in every situation. So yeah, I don't know. That's just how I model positive energy. It's like I find the silver lining in most things. I'm the same here as I am anywhere else. Um, I don't know. I'm very honest and very straight, forward. So yeah, we have the power to choose, Jonathan. Yes. All right. Let's see. What are you guys saying? I see some good stuff in here. All right. Natalie said, oh, Dana said the best way I show this is telling the girls that the world is not out to get me. Bad things happen, but I can choose how to respond. I tell and show the girls always leave the space you are in better than when you came. I love that. Whether it was make someone laugh, take care of someone, change or clean up something, then I can know I did my best and encourage others to do the same. Serena said, always thinking and speaking strength-based and not allowing negative vibes to enter my world. I choose self-care, and in so doing, I move with smiles and love. Yes, Jonathan said we have the power to choose. Amen. Tammy said, I was brought up being told if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I think there are nice ways to say things that need to be said. However, I'm naturally a strength-based person. I tend to see the good in people. Tammy, that's why I love you. I think we could probably be sisters for real. Jonathan said, positivity can be sparked through gratitude. Black said, I tell them that they are enough. Yes, I love all of these comments. I love all of these comments. And you're right. I feel like that. I feel like I definitely feel like, or I know that having the power to choose is a very real thing. And I just choose good for the sake of my family. Because I know, I just want to speak to this modeling piece. I know that the way I show up, my children are watching what I do. They're not just hearing what I say. Did you know that old saying? What's that old saying? Like, do as I say, not as I do, or something. And I remember for me, it was no, children will hear what you do as I say, not as I do, right? And then and I was like, that's not true. My experience is that children will do exactly do as I say, not as I do. They do just the opposite. And they do everything that you tell them not to do because they're watching. Like if I don't do it, if I do it and I tell them not to do it, they're like, that's very hypocritical, and they do it. They do exactly as I do. So yeah. So for me, I need to be a great model in how I speak, and how I share, and how I show up. And I get to show them, they get to see it, and maybe it'll pay off. And I'm fortunate because my children are all young adults, and it has paid off. So, and I'm a Misha, like I'm a grandma, right? Grandma. I'm a Misha. I take that word back. Yeah, Tammy, thank you. Lead by example. All right, so let's go to the next one, Jahira. We have one last one. Dana, I showed them it's not always the easy path, but it's so much more enjoyable. This is so true. I agree. So last one, way 54, create and maintain structure. My children know what to expect day to day and are learning how to follow rules and take responsibilities for their actions. My children know what to expect day to day and are learning how to follow rules and take responsibility for their actions. So, my question, ready? What in what ways do you create and maintain structure? And who helps you? In what ways you create and maintain structure and who helps you? And I'm asking this question. When I saw this question, I started thinking about my own children and young adults and how um my structure has changed as they've gotten older and transitioned out of the home. Um, and now I don't feel like I have any structure. But when they were younger, we didn't even have Google. Um, I know I think for me, my mom and my grandma helped me to create the structure, and my husband, and then we maintained it by just like talking to each other, talking to our children about it, meeting to check in to see if that was still working for everyone, and if we needed to change anything. And so I'm trying to think of what ways that we like one of the things. So from one of the ones that stands out in my mind is my children when they started high school. I had this conversation with them, okay, and it was like building parameters. So one of the things that I did with them was I said, "Hey, listen, you're going away to school, and I want to create like." I want to have a relationship that's built on trust with you. So then what I need you to do is that when you go to school, I need you to when you have somewhere to go, I need you to let me know where you're going to be there, who you're going with. I need you to be where you say you were going, right? And then if you're going to be late, I need you to call me. I need you to call me. And I'm just thinking of one way that we created and maintained structure. And this was like by setting some parameters around what they could do and where they could go in order to keep the trust so they can continue to, enjoy their high school years, because I really wanted them to enjoy their high school years. And it worked out. Like my daughter, by the time she was able to like start moving around, she would literally, this wasn't the best thing, but she would ask for, like, if she was going to be late, she would ask the person on the bus stop, "Can I use your phone to call my mom because I'm going to be late?" Which I happen to love because um, we were following what we put in place, which was good. And I was able to trust her. Now, I'm not saying that she didn't do what kids do and eventually, do what kids do, but, behind our backs. But the point is that we did put something in place and we were able to maintain it. So let's see what you guys are saying. Ooh, a lot of good conversation happening in the chat. Let's see. Ha ha ha. Dana, I showed them it's not. Oh, Dana says structure is the single best parenting tool I have found in working with children with trauma. We start with basics, day-to-day life, mealtime expectations, school day routines. Once those are going well, then working on the deeper stuff has proven over and over to work better. Black said consistency. My older children often sit on family meetings. It helps a great deal when they hear. When they hear it coming from their older siblings that rules have not changed. They also look at their older siblings as role models. I appreciate the older children for their input. Tammy said, that's a powerful question. In this house, we are 3 adults and 2 children. As the adults, we strive to provide consistency for the kids. We are united front, meaning the rules are the same no matter who is in charge at the moment. In this way, the kids know what to expect and what's expected of them. Serena said, because of my OCD, my children know it's imperative to have structure or a plan to get through the day. My mom lives in my house and has for 30 years, and we share those dynamics that create a safe place to be honest no matter where they are. And that includes structure no matter where they are, trust and respect through good communication, which they still do today. Jonathan said, family calendar, chore to-do list, Sunday family check-ins, text, iPad messaging. My wife and I are educators by trade, which can be interested at times. In this case, it helps. Dana says, we talked about dating rules starting when they were 10, talking about college and career expectations well in advance. Ladies know the expectations is really good groundwork. Jeffrey says, we're a military and law enforcement family. Whoop, whoop, military. So we're all held accountable for our actions. We keep an agenda, which also helps my special needs foster feel a sense of accomplishment and completion, even as basic as making their bed as soon as they wake up. Small goals mean a lot to people. Yes, fantastic. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you for a fantastic time today. I'm so glad you guys were able to enjoy me. I hope today's conversation was as good for you as it was for me. Jahira has taken time to put up the poll up. So please take a moment and complete the poll. Yay! You're so welcome. You are so welcome. And for those of you guys who said not so much and gave it like a 3 or a 4, let us know what we can do differently for you, okay? All right. Let us know what we can do different. Next slide. Don't forget to join us. Hey, guess what? Look at this. Oh my God. So I'm back. Okay, I'm back tomorrow. And then Friday, we're having the Living with Your Protective Factor Parent Cafe, which I'll also be hosting. So stop on by. And then Monday, trust is superpower. And then Tuesday, the key to great parenting is you. All right. Well, I hope you're ready for an overload of Sarita. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And thank you to everybody for joining us and your great conversations, because without you, we wouldn't have a daily webinar. All right. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.